everyone. Associated Press, are you okay? You used to be like one of my favorite sources to use when looking for stories to put in the summaries on the war in Ukraine. And lately, your coverage has been kind of blah. It's been kind of beige, kind of rice cakes without flavoring, kind of CNN. What's wrong? Blink if you need help. Yeah, Ukraine is facing pressure. Ukraine has been facing pressure of some sort since 2014. So this is kind of not the kind of headline that is really informative. Also, multiple sources have been covering the impact of the war in Iran on the war in Ukraine for basically the duration. Where have you been, AP? And of course Russia is readying the new offensive. Of course they are. When aren't they? Show me a single season of the year over the last 4 years when Russia was not readying a new offensive. Again, hardly news. So, what is your point, AP? I mean, you're not factually correct here. You're not factually incorrect. But can you please put in some facts here, some meat behind your materials? Can we do that? And can you start covering this shit in a timely manner? Because those of us trying to bring these stories, this news about Ukraine to the English-speaking audience, we really need good, solid sources. Just saying. Meanwhile, Russia has its deadliest day of the year so far as they continue with this insanity. 1,700 people lost in one day. That's just in one day, folks. I want this to sink in. To put this into perspective, let me give you something relatable. A company. Something you may actually know. King Arthur Flour. King Arthur Flour has less than 400 employees. Have something like, I think I looked it up recently, 366 employees. And that is one of the companies that is known as a small giant. So let's assume, if they had actual 400 employees, even if they don't. So in one day, Russia had lost more than 4 times the number of employees at that one company. Imagine your workplace, if it's a small one, if you work for a smaller company, if suddenly, literally everybody disappeared in one day. And the thing is that is not enough to stop the Russian government. They don't care. I'm sure Russia too has small businesses with about that many employees. They don't care. They just keep treating people as if they were dispensable. Ooh, look at that! Finally, EU is starting to get pissed off at Hungary. I am very happy to see that. Because as you all know, I have been asking that question for a long time. If Hungary and Slovakia continue pushing their pro-Russian agenda and continue basically making a concerted effort to undermine European policies, what are you going to do? Well, this is the first sign that EU government is starting to basically get a little bit fed up. Because Ursula von der Leyen, who is the EU president at this time, said that they will get that 90 billion loan to Kyiv regardless. One way or another, she said, we will deliver one way or the other. And again, I don't know how they're going to do this, bypassing Hungary, who is basically blocking this whole thing. Um, I'm not sure if they're going to split it up into smaller portions that don't require the approval of all of the countries. Anybody who is well versed in the European Union law, let me know, because this is not my area. So this is something I don't know anything about. So if you have any ideas how they might be able to work around Hungary and make this possible, let me know. I would really appreciate it. And again, we have an election coming up in Hungary in April. My question to the European government is, are there going to be any observers? Any type of accountability to ensure that the elections are fair? I really want to know. Because Orban cannot be allowed to stay in power. And I hope people of Hungary understand that. Russian government said that the trilateral talks between Washington, Moscow, and Kiev are in a situational pause. Well, that's a really fancy way to say they're basically fucked, because the US decided to go and bomb Iran. That's what they're saying. There is a plan for Ukrainian and US negotiators to meet tomorrow and see what they can do. But again, I don't have a lot of hopes, because here's my concern. Here's what I think will happen, is that the US negotiators are going to tell Ukraine point blank, listen, we have other things to do right now. Can you just surrender already so that we can stop worrying about you? I think that is going to be the line of logic, reasoning, if you can call it that, delivered by the US delegation. I do not have high hopes. And Lukashenko, Belarus leader, who is basically very much like Putin's mini-me, released 250 political prisoners as part of the deal with Washington and to get some of the US sanctions lifted. My concern is that as soon as the sanctions are lifted, those people are going to get rearrested again on some type of bogus charges, because that is how Lukashenko operates. Again, he's very much like Putin in that respect. International Monetary Fund staff are in Kyiv this week to basically look at Ukraine's meeting the commitment under the new 8.1 billion lending program, basically to see how Ukraine is going to pay back. I think Ukraine should consider paying back basically in technology, patents, military strategies, military education. Not entirely, but I think it should be part of it, because rearmament of Europe is becoming increasingly important. And here's the confirmation. Yes, the war supporting, Putin supporting blogger who had suddenly turned on Putin and published a manifesto, 5 Reasons Why I Stopped Supporting Vladimir Putin. He is indeed at a psychiatric facility. And again, I do not have a good feeling about his survival there. And the Red Cross is facilitating the exchange of the dead. And as they described, it is thousands and thousands that remain still unidentified. This is war. More to come.